Dear students, you all are most welcomed in the syllabus of class 12 NCERT, and in that connection the first chapter which is for our discussion is solid state. Students, as we are aware, right from class 6, 8, finally in class 9th also, we had interacted with states of matter like solid, liquid, and gases. In addition to these three, there are also two others states of matter which I am sure certainly you will have heard the name, like Bose-Einstein condensate and plasma. But these two are not of frequently used. But for so many very practical purposes of our day-to-day interaction, we only use solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. So actually these are started from the term matter, which is made up of several types of constituents. Here in this very chapter, from start to end, again and again I will use the word constituents. So these constituents are the material from which the matter is made up of. Since constituents are the basic building unit of the matter, that's why the two important, better to say very important things for our discussion is intermolecular forces and intermolecular distance. So these two things, they are the determining factor of states of matter. The intermolecular force of attraction and intermolecular distance, these are reciprocal to each other. If one will be greater, other will be less. So intermolecular force of attraction, when it is operative between the constituents and it is force is less, means the gap between the constituent is large. The state of matter is called gas. By any means, we are least bothered about all that, but if constituents are coming close, but not very close, but they are coming close due to increasing intermolecular force of attraction, then the state of matter is known as liquid state. Here, in liquid state, these two factors, that is the intermolecular force of attraction and intermolecular distance, they are neither less nor more. they are in their intermediate situation, both of them, and that's why that state of matter, it is known as liquid state. So from gas coming close, it is liquid state. After that, by any means, when constituents are coming as close as it is possible, because here is also a restriction that the constituent have there so many forces operative on that, attractive as well as repulsive. So when the resultant of attractive forces dominates over repulsive and they come at their least distance, and hence obviously we can say that as a result of which what happened, that intermolecular force of attraction, it is maximum. Now see, out of these two, number one, intermolecular force of attraction maximum. Consequently, intermolecular distance minimum. The state of matter is called solid state. One more thing. Here, when we use the word constituent, or we use the term like intermolecular force of attraction or intermolecular distance, so never get confused that always molecules are made up of molecules only, because these are the names which were started in the very beginning and traditionally the name is coming. But here it is very important to know that constituents may be atom, it may be molecule, it may be ion. It depends upon what type of solid we are interacting. So constituents, which are the basic welding unit of solid, they can be made up of atoms, they can be made up of molecules, they can be made up of ions. So, starting from matter, we came to solid state. So, we have to confine our attention in this video, in this topic, only to study the solid state. Dear students, while handling, because these three states of matter you are very much familiar with, already you are interacting in your day-to-day life with solid, with liquid, with gas. So what you really feel that in handling solid is easiest. In handling solid is easiest. A little bit difficult is liquid. And handling of gases, it is comparatively difficult. A very common example, we see LPG, CNG, in how difficult way they are stored and they are coming to us, which are frequently we are using. But these are the things of common handling. But when we try to study about them, study about these states of matter, then what is found that comparatively gases, they are easiest. Then comes liquid. But a study of solid state of matter, it is really solid. Here we need very fine concentration and very minute observation while discussing about the chemistry of solid states of matter. It will not be non-judicious to say that while studying solid states of matter, we not only needs our regular vision, means with help of our two eyes, with in addition to that, we also required some additional vision. In Hindi, it is known as Divya Drishti, which was, as we are familiar to know, that it was available with the Sanjay in the episode of Mahabharata. So here we need some additional concentration while studying solid state. It is because I am also making it more clear why it is like so. Really, here maximum things which are connected with this very study is in 3 dimensions, because to study, to interact and to have a dealing with 2 dimension, we are familiar. But when 3 dimensional study, it comes in front of us along with x, y and z axis, then it becomes a little bit difficult. So with my expertise, I will try to dilute all the hurdles of these very things which are related to solid state, and certainly you will enjoy it. So just what I had given to you is here also in the form of written form. We are discussing solid state. It is main topic of our discussion, and in this very discussion we are always dealing with intermolecular force of attraction and intermolecular distance. Now with this black spot, constituents are represented. Confine your attention here. These black spots, that is constituents, when they are far apart, what it means? It means that the force of attraction is less. That's why they are sitting far apart from each other. And that's why we call this state of matter as gaseous state. And when they are at a distance which is neither closest nor farthest, means intermediate, then this is known as liquid state, represented by a small l. And when constituents are coming as close as it is possible, means they can't come even more close. It is the maximum, it is the limit of coming closeness, and that state of matter is known as a solid state. So it is our point of discussion. So when we are showing our interest for the study of solid state of matter, then what we will do, that we will take large number of solids different variety of solid scattered in front of us. So here, when we will interact with different varieties of solids, then these different solids by whom we are interacting, they inculcate a new interest. That is, are they of same quality? Are they made up of the same methodology? Answer is no. All solids which are available with us, they are not of the same type. They are not of the same quality. They are not made up by the same ways. That's why what is needed, what is the crying demand of the situation is classification of solid. The next thing which is needed in the study is classification of solid. So this solid, at a glance, it can be classified into two parts. First part is called crystalline solid. It is called crystalline solid. And second part, it is known as amorphous solid. Crystalline solid as well as amorphous solid. Two different varieties. This amorphous solid is also known as pseudo-solid. The next name of amorphous solid is pseudo-solid. And fortunately, it has got also a next name, and it is also called supercooled liquids. Supercooled liquids. So it is the two variety. Now, in CBSE board examination of class 12, 2-mark question is frequently asked, and it is difference between crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Dear students, make a habit from very beginning that when any question comes in the examination, that differentiate or find difference or how you will distinguish. If such type of wordings are present in the question, then always you answer in tabular form. Means you divide the page into two parts. Divide the page into two parts. Not by cutting. Simply place a line. One side, what we will write? Crystalline solid. And in second side, what we will write? Amorphous solid. Now, point wise we have to differentiate it. First point. First point of difference. That is, all the crystalline solids, they are made up of constituents which are in a very perfect way distributed in the total structure. But in case of amorphous solid, distribution of constituents, it's not uniform throughout. It is not uniform throughout, but it is very much regular in case of crystalline solid. This is difference number one. Let's repeat. Here there is a very systematic distribution of constituents throughout the structure, but here not like so. Second thing, crystalline solids have a sharp melting point. Crystalline solids have a sharp melting point, but amorphous solids do not have sharp melting point. When we are taking a crystalline solid, you heat it, and on heating certainly temperature will increase. In that case, a time will come at a particular temperature the entire solid will convert into liquid. What we call it? It is sharp melting point, converting solid into liquid. But this is not so in case of amorphous solid. One of the best example of amorphous solid is glass. Students, you are aware, you take a glass tube or you take a glass rod, you heat it in Bunsen burner. You will find that the portion of glass which is exactly touching the flame, it becomes liquid, but just 5 to 10 centimeter away you are holding it and you are getting no effect at all. So what it means? That distribution of heat absorbed by the Bunsen burner, it is not uniform here. So here it does not have sharp melting point. Next is here is, in case of crystalline solid, there is a property of anisotropy. Property of the word anisotropy.
करिए.
So in case of crystalline solid, there is property of anisotropy,
और सीधा करिए.
and in case of amorphous solid, it has a property which is known as isotropy. So let us try to know what is anisotropy and what is isotropy. Actually, in the crystalline structure, when a beam of light is allowed to interact in one direction, there is one type of interaction. But when we change the direction in the same solid, the way of interaction is different from this one, and that property is called anisotropy. But in crystalline solid, in amorphous solid, in every direction there is same type of interaction with any beam of light or any rays passing through it. That is known as isotropy. So, third difference. Now the fourth difference between these two is, on the basis of all the three which we had discussed, we give the name true solid. All the crystalline solids are known as true solids, but amorphous solids are known as pseudo solid. Pseudo solid. So, in this way, we can easily differentiate between true solid and pseudo solid. A very common example of true solid and pseudo solid is available. Suppose the school building or college building where you are studying, it is supposed to old, and in windows or doors there is glass, there is iron rods given, and just beside it there is glass pans. Just you touch both of it, iron rods as well as the glass pans, you will find both were fitted at the same time, but iron rods, iron angles, they are as it is intact. But glass pans, they are a little bit loose at their top. You can knock it with your finger, tips of your finger, you will find that there is vibrating sound. Means what it means? That when glass pans are allowed to stand for a very long time, what happens? The molecule of glasses vertically they come down under gravity. So movement of constituent, it's not the property of solid, but it is the property of liquid. So glass is creating a confusion of being a solid, but really it is not solid. A little bit property of liquids are also available there. So that's why it is known as pseudo solid. That's all, dear students, in this very video. And in the last, you note down two questions, simple questions for study. Find from your study, collect 5 examples of true solid and 5 examples of pseudo solid. In my next video, I will discuss about the classification of crystalline solid. Thank you all.